Well, as a genius billionaire playboy thankless once said, part of the journey is the end. Hello, I just finished watching Amphibia Season 3, Episode 18 All In, this hour-long penultimate episode of the series before the finale next week, and apart from some of the content, and as well as the scale of it, I definitely understand why they aired it in prime time rather than the usual morning time slot. Yeah. So there aren't going to be any spoilers, at least not any major ones in this video, especially given how I've been trying to dodge in my feed since earlier today. Yeah, I mean, apparently some people's on-demand profiles unlock the episode early, and trying to avoid a repeat of of what happened with the second season last year or so, given the preview nature of it. And but as someone who's also as part of like the MCU and Star Wars fandoms, I am well familiar with avoiding spoilers. I there are cases where I won't even listen to the OST of the movie if I think even the track list has spoilers. I'm old enough to remember the whole Qui Gon's farewell. Hope after all, I mean, even though I'm not holding Obi Wan saber here, I mean, my Qui Gon one's in the other room. I mean, but even though it doesn't have the disclaimer like True Colors did, I will say that in terms of the tone and of what the final battle's phase here, it's on par with what I've seen in their content they've made with Marvel, Lucasfilm, and I guess now Fox as well. I mean, just if you have young ones, you can just talk to them. They understand. I mean, or these are just pictures on a screen. I mean, yeah. Brought up fairly recently, I also consider the show in many ways to be like spiritual sister of Gravity Falls, and this episode seems to further compound that. I mean, it is essentially like Amphibia's Armageddon, and in many respects, where in terms of not just has all the insane stuff going on screen, of launching a full-scale, multi-dimensional invasion, but also in the sense of building up things that have been set up since the very first frames of the show itself. I mean, in the sense that much like Alex, Matt knew what he wanted to do with the story and then said about doing it. I mean, I've seen these interviews he gave, with some of these websites like Collider and CBR. I mean, I do like to read these whenever it's someone I have a personal interest in, as a way of getting inside their head. I mean, seeing how they approach the creative process. I mean, says and I actually respect this immensely of wanting to start and end the show on their own terms. I mean, and it's definitely also not a stretch that we could maybe even see merches even after that. I mean, we've at least gotten some shirts and some pop vinyls, I believe. But let's just say there's things in this episode that I think could be, shall we say, a bit toyetic, so to speak. I mean, and I even saw like someone like proposing like a Lego idea set that the Master Race would have to approve, obviously, but the prospect does excite me in a weird way. Yeah. Speaking of what I mentioned about resolving, I mean seeds I planted, and ever since the beginning of the series, is that from a character point of view, one thing I can say definitively is how each of them, the three human leads, I would suggest that the Calamity powers, as with the music box, on top of being very much like the Infinity Gauntlet of this story, you have being able to cause great chaos in the wrong hands mean no matter how many fingers it might have mean each specific one will be tied to a specific character strength as well as overcoming a specific character flaw. I mean, in the case where Here, Sasha has a lot of great physical strength. I don't mean just like the cliche. I mean, given how athletic she is, and she was the one that was able to lift the hammer in the previous season, and and also kind of casting out the armor, kind of like how Goku does, is like taking off like the weighted heats in his training gear to fight someone sometimes. Times in the temple. Mercy is also very, but also the flaw of Sauce, like the controlling nature, and she's trying to overcome that, even when that wasn't always easy. In the case of Mercy, she's very book smart and intelligent, but it's not just the clumsiness that's the issue, but rather the impulsiveness. Like how I notice every single time she thinks a decision through, it tends to work out well, but every time she makes a rash decision, and it does not end well, given how the inciting incident of the entire show is basically built on the whole that she wasn't entirely thinking clearly. I think when he discovered the music box and what it was capable of. Yeah. This brings us to Anne, which, given how the whole journey she had over discovering her identity and who she really is, like how, even though she may seem surface level or kind of selfish, it's clear that she does have sympathetic qualities to her. Like she definitely feels a strong sense of passion for those around her when it really gets down to it. She's definitely come a long way from someone who tried to play sick to get out of farm work, but also be someone who's prepared to who go up a mountain that wasn't made for someone like her to fix the problem, from someone who who try who's sleeping in a cave who during her first few nights there, to someone who basically stayed up through the night trying to find a way to get back to their world. Since not just like a simple setup and payoff, but each plot being connected, and how I notice I've been watching a lot of Fermentos videos lately, but it tends to be the most effective journey and the most memorable one. The more challenge you add to who the equation, not just simply getting from point A to point B, but hey, but if things don't always go as planned and it makes sense for the story, where it's and like the whole fact that it's not just concerned about the how the less of a concern about the raw power of the gem itself, but rather the fact he's trying to focus them, like how. And again, bringing the Goku comparison, kind of like how with the whole autonomous ultra instinct, as well as other ones, and since once he did finally manage to get them focused, well, if something similar is in store for the finale next week, let's just say we're gonna be in for quite the show. Yeah. With this being the case, and given how much this has helped me get through these situations, I can honestly say, hey, that this, if they play the cards right, may very well go down as not just one of my favorite ones of the last few years, but possibly join the list of my all-time favorite shows ever. Yeah. I mean, and all this came from something as simple as like a convention leak, starring something as simple as like a one-shoe Thai American who lines up in a little frog people. Where sometimes the strangest concepts can have the biggest impact on a person. Anyway, that's all I got to say about this for now. I will see you next week with my reaction thoughts on the series finale, The Hardest Thing, and also for or tomorrow for my review of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So, take care, everyone.